In 1975, this monster terrorized the beaches of the world. Now, before you click off thinking I've gone full sharks and beaches, hold up, I promise, this is a car channel. Stick with me, because while the shark from Jaws made the beach an absolute nightmare, 5 years earlier, something else was terrorizing the streets. And it didn't need an ocean. This car attacked. This car roared. This car took no prisoners. It was Detroit's apex predator. 425 horsepower, zero remorse, and a name whispered with the same kind of fear, Hemi Cuda. It came, it conquered, and then it disappeared. And today it's one of the rarest, most valuable muscle machines ever built. So how did a short-lived coupe turn into a seven-figure legend? Let's rewind the clock before the collectors, before the auctions, and meet the beast that ruled the road. I put this video together using 4 main sources about the Hemi Cuda: Auto Evolution, Hot Cars, Audrain Auto Museum, and Cuda Brothers. You can find links to all of them in the Google Doc linked in the description. I highly recommend checking them out for more in-depth information. The Plymouth Cuda came from humble beginnings. It was the performance version of the Barracuda, Plymouth's attempt to tap into the booming pony car market, going up against the Ford Mustang and Chevrolet Corvette. It debuted as a sportier take on the Plymouth Valiant, a compact car not exactly known for setting pulses racing, but Plymouth was determined to stir things up. The early Barracuda borrowed heavily in the styling department. They took the fastback shape and rear window influence from the Corvette and the rear end proportions from the Mustang. Was it original? Not particularly, but it looked good enough to earn a second glance. The problem? It still didn't get much respect. That all started to change in 1969. Plymouth took 50 Barracudas and handed them off to Hearst Performance. What came back were monsters, lightweight fiberglass-bodied cars stuffed with 426 Hemis. They were built purely for competition, completely illegal for street use. These things weren't for cruising downtown. They were built to tear up National Hot Rod Association and Sports Car Club of America racetracks. This same year marked a turning point. 1969 was the first time the Cuda name officially appeared. It was used to label the top-tier, high-performance variants of the Barracuda, now available with more aggressive engines like the 340, 383, and the massive 440. It was becoming clear Plymouth wasn't just trying to compete anymore. They were ready to dominate. Then came 1970. The Barracuda moved to the new E-body platform, the same one used by the Dodge Challenger. For 4 years, they shared the same bones, but what set them apart was what Plymouth stuffed under the hood. You had a menu of engine choices. Start with a 340 if you just wanted a taste, step up to a 383 for some grunt, or go full savage with the 446 pack, 3 two-barrel carburetors, and an attitude problem. But if you wanted the king of them all, there was only one choice, the 426 Hemi. This was the engine muscle car dreams are made of: 425 horsepower, 490 pound-feet of torque, and enough presence to make everything else on the road look like a toy. Only the serious cars got the Cuda badge, and even fewer got the Hemi. Plymouth even brought in Dan Gurney's All-American Racers to take the Cuda racing at Laguna Seca in the Sports Car Club of America Trans Am Series. The competition? Camaros, Mustangs, Javelins, and even Dodge's own Challenger. If you're enjoying the video, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It takes just one click, but really helps out. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of April, and your support genuinely means a lot. This is where things go from powerful to priceless. Plymouth sold nearly 49,000 Barracudas in 1970. But only 666 of them came with the 426 Hemi engine. That made it rare, but the next year made it a unicorn. In 1971, Hemi Cuda production dropped to just 114 cars. Across both years, only 780 Hemi Cudas were ever built. That's about 1.2% of total Barracuda production during that window. and of those, only 21 were convertibles. 14 in 1970 and a mere 7 in 1971. These cars were special order machines. Getting one meant you were serious. Getting a convertible Hemi Cuda with a 4-speed manual? That meant you were completely unhinged in the best possible way. One of those ultra-rare 1971 4-speed convertibles sold for $2.2 million at Pebble Beach back in 2015. But that wasn't the ceiling. In 2014, a similar Hemi Cuda convertible shattered records with a $3.5 million price tag. And in private sales, the number has climbed even higher, reportedly up to $6.5 million. For a car that originally cost under $5,000, less than $40,000 in today's money, that's a return on investment that would make Wall Street blush. The 1971 Plymouth Hemi Cuda was the last of its kind. By that point, emissions regulations and insurance premiums were beginning to squeeze the life out of muscle cars. Plymouth had a choice: detune the Cuda and watch it fade, or let it go out on top. They chose option B. The 1971 Hemi Cuda was the final battle cry. It kept the full 426 cubic inch Hemi at full strength, still making 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. It could hit 0 to 60 in just 5.6 seconds and had a top speed of 155 miles per hour. It came with either a 3-speed automatic or a 4-speed manual, and both gave you a brutally raw driving experience. No power steering, no luxury, just muscle. The design was also unique to 1971. A new split grille, round headlights, and aggressive billboard decals that screamed what engine was hiding under the hood. It had quad taillights, shark gill fender vents, and came in colors like Plum Crazy, Lemon Twist, and Moulin Rouge. The interior was Spartan, but nobody cared. This car was about what happened when your right foot hit the floor. The Hemi Cuda wasn't just fast, it was competitive. Swede Savage and Dan Gurney grabbed 3 pole positions in the 1970 Trans Am series with it, and French driver Henri Chemin won 45 FIA-sanctioned races behind the wheel of a Hemi Cuda. That's not just track presence, that's domination. The Plymouth Hemi Cuda was the loud tire-smoking punctuation mark at the end of the muscle car era. It was rare, it was fast, and it was built with absolutely no concern for fuel economy, emissions, or subtlety. More than 50 years later, the Hemi Cuda still turns heads. And if you ever come across a real Hemi convertible, you're looking at a loud, powerful piece of American history, one that hasn't lost any of its edge. Now I've got a question for you. Have you ever seen a real Hemi Cuda? Or maybe you've got a story about one, or just an opinion on the car? I'd love to hear what you think, so feel free to share it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe and click on the recommended video that appears on the screen. It's all about the original Pontiac GTO, a car that needs no introduction. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.